Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop here at Circus. I'm your host for the day, Luciana Fortis. I'd love to know who's here. Hello, Steph. Awesome. Please let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. If you want to have any tech issues. Hey, Kay. Hey, Jesse. Hey, Jovan. Hey, Zach, Sarah, John. Oh, you guys are just, go. I love it. Very high energy. I'm feeling it. Okay, we have those thumbs up. So you guys have discovered the emoji function already. So I'd love to get some more. Maybe we can get some hearts up in there. Maybe we can get some, amazing. Great. Thank you everybody for joining here today. Oh my gosh, so many emojis. I love it. You guys are making me so happy. Anyways, I'm so happy to be here. Today's workshop is how to start your XR design career. It's a very special workshop because we have a very special guest. Today, Eva Kutikova, I'm learning how to say her name properly, is our special guest speaker. She's an independent interaction designer and XR enthusiast, and she has lots of knowledge to share with you guys. Okay. So this is great. I did do a workshop last week and I missed you all, so I'm really excited to be here. Okay, I see that you guys are already saying hello and saying where you're tuning in from. So I'm currently now located in Calgary, and I'd love to know where you're all based out of. Eva is from Prague, but she's currently in Miami, so we're all super global. And I see here that Kate is from Taiwan, Karubel, oh my gosh, it's moving so fast, I can't keep track. Victoria in Russia, Zach from Cape Town, Sydney, London, Abe, Austin, so we have Switzerland, Taishan from New York City, amazing, keep it coming. Oh, we have Isabella from Poland, very cool, very nice. Great, so you guys have already been, we have Celso from Sao Paulo, Brazil, oi Celso, tudo bem? Very cool, very nice. So you're all familiarized with the chat function. So continue to drop your location, continue to interact with each other, even during the workshop. We'd love to get that conversation going. Send the emojis, all that jazz. The other thing that you can do with the chat is also share your LinkedIn profiles. So that way we can continue to stay connected even after the workshop. That's fun. A couple of other housekeeping items just to get us going is on the top right, you see that there's a questions tab. So throughout the workshop, I'm sure lots of questions will come up. So the best way is to write them in the questions tab so that we get a chance to answer them during the Q&A at the end. So we'll always organize them by upvote, so you can also vote on the questions that you're most eager to have answered. And then to the right of the questions tab, we also have the polls tab. I'll be launching 2 polls today just to get a sense of where you guys are at. And that way we can cater the workshop to all of our attendees. So I'll definitely give you a heads up when we launch the polls, but it's just so you are aware. Amazing, I see those LinkedIn profiles already, and I'm feeling very energized. Very nice. Okay, so without further ado, let's get things started. So what can you all expect for today for this workshop on how to start your XR design career? I'm going to start us off with a brief introduction about who we are and what we do. I'm going to talk a little bit about Eva as well. And then I'm going to invite Eva up on stage. She's going to go through a design deep dive with you guys. That'll take about 30 to 45 minutes. And then I'm going to come back on just to go through a couple of wrap-up resources. And then we'll go to our live Q&A session. If for some reason you have to drop off early, because you have to go to sleep or have to go to work or anything of the sorts, don't worry, because we are going to be sending the recording as well as any project files or resources to everybody who registered for the workshop. All right, so let me introduce myself to those of you who don't know me. So my name is Luciana Fortis, as I mentioned. You can call me Lucy, and I'm the Student Experience Coordinator at Circus, aka Fun Guru, aka favorite person on the team. You can take your pick. Yay, celebration emojis. I've worked with education for over 7 years in university prep as well as student experience. And a fun fact about me is that both of my degrees are in dance. And in 2016, I danced in the opening ceremony of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. So do we have any dancers out there? Maybe a couple of athletes? definitely drop a line in the chat. And now about our guest of honor, so Eva Kuzikova. Oh, sorry, it's missing a little accent there. She is an independent product and interaction designer, as well as XR and future tech enthusiast. So Eva has over 5 years in product design experience. And a really cool fact about her is that she designed an app, which was chosen amongst 350 pilot applications for Google Play Pass. She also has a very interesting educational component, as you guys will see. She has a YouTube channel. You can reach it at Eva Kutikova. It's right there, here, where she talks about how you can get self-started in product design, AR and VR, as well as self-education. A fun fact about Eva is that she's an all things puzzle lover. She also has lots of content about that in her YouTube channel. Right before we started the workshop, we were talking about, the 16 personalities test. And she's an architect, I'm a protagonist. So if you're interested in that stuff, definitely check out her YouTube channel. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about us here at Circus. Who are we and what do we do? Diane just dropped Eva's YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and check it out right away. Well, not during the workshop, after the workshop, so you can listen to the workshop. So Circus was founded in 2015 when we noticed that there was a gap in the education world in terms of providing training to the next set of XR enthusiasts as well as professionals. We're really proud to say that since then, we've trained over 40,000 learners, and this number is growing by the day. I always love saying that number. And I always love saying that I love saying that number. We're also Unity certified training and channel partners. So channel partners are selected according to their focus on quality education and commitment to providing the best level of training possible. I see Anita saying, Janet, did you get to meet Amy Purdy? She danced with a robot. I didn't. I saw her from far away, but the choreographer that I worked with her. So cool, so cool. We can talk more about that later. So as I mentioned, we are Unity certified training channel partner, and here are some of the certifications that we have with Unity. We have such a close relationship with Unity that all of our courses prepare you to take the Unity certification exams. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. A little bit about our team. Just as our students, we are a very global team. We are a global team of industry experts who are passionate about building AR and VR products, and we have various backgrounds and experiences, but we're all looking to provide the highest training possible. These are just some of the students and the companies that we've had the pleasure to train. So you can see that we have some pretty big names there, such as Apple, Hulu, we have Nike, YouTube, Facebook, Walmart, and Dell. And it's exciting to see as well kind of the diversity of the field. So that's one of the really exciting things about XR to me is how diverse and varied the applications are. Oh, my speaker's not so great. Hello, hello. Let me, 1 second, guys. Hello, is that a little bit better? Hello, hello, way better. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know, everyone. Awesome. So let me talk a little bit about our courses so that you all have some context before we bring Eva on. So we have 2 flagship courses, and that's our XR Development Unity course and our Interaction Design and Prototyping for XR. They're both 10 weeks long, and you get 80 hours of instruction. And they're both, using the Unity engine, except the XR Development with Unity is a focus on coding, whereas the Interaction Design and Prototyping for XR, of course, is focused on design. So we have a couple of attendees in the chat that are students that are taking the courses. I'm sure they can talk a little bit more about that as well. And I'll talk a little bit more about these courses later on, but this is just so you guys can have a sense. So all of our courses are project-based, you get live mentorship, and you get the option to add one-on-one support, where you get the chance to develop a project of your own with industry experts. We also offer personalized team training. So if you're an educator, oh no, it went back. Let me try again here. Oh, I think I was on the wrong side. Is that better? Hello? Hello? A bit better? Okay. Sorry, you guys. I don't know why it's giving me these issues today. Okay. Anyways, so if you're an educator or a business, we can offer you personalized plans as well. All right, so let's talk about Unity. So Unity is a big part of our courses and a big part of designers who are looking to get into XR. So I'd love to get a sense of, what everybody's experience with Unity is. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the first poll of the day. We go ahead and published it. So if you go to the polls tab, I'd love to get a sense on a scale of 0 to 10 what your experience with Unity is. That way we can cater the workshop to everybody who is present. All right, so let's start seeing those answers. So I see that we have about 25% in 0, another 20% ones, 20% 3. So a couple of 6s and 4s, but most of you are beginners for sure, which is real problem. We're going to go through with this in pieces. All right, so what is Unity? I'm going to talk a little bit slower, maybe. Yeah, I'll try. Let me remove my headset, see if that's a bit better. Hello, hello? Is that a bit better, everyone? Hopefully it is. Yes. Okay, great. Wonderful. Third time's the charm. Okay. So let's go through what is Unity. Unity is a free 3D development engine for building games, simulations, and experiences. So basically, it's the easiest way to begin making apps for XR, which means extended reality, which is just a fancy umbrella term for AR and VR. So how do you go about building your app or experience or game on Unity? So it all starts with your amazing idea, and then you create it on an engine such as Unity, and you push it out to one of these 3 SDKs, and then to their respective devices. So what are you going to be learning today? So Eva's going to talk a little bit about Unity, but she'll also teach you guys what device is best for your situation, what percentage of your time should be used for exploring, how to monetize skills you already have, and much, much more. Her presentation is beautiful. I've gotten a snapshot of it, so I'm sure you guys will love it as well. So without further ado, and without any more AV issues, hopefully, I'd love to invite Eva here up on stage to go through the technical portion of the workshop.
Hello, everyone. Before we start, can you everyone hear me clearly so we don't have any other audio issues? Yeah, hey, wonderful. I'm really glad you can hear that. So I will start to share my presentation, and let me know if you can see it. I can see it right now. Okay, we are all good to go. So let's get started. I think that one of the first things we need to talk about on this workshop is my thinking behind all of the stuff I'm doing. And that can be condensed into this one sentence: doing versus consuming. At this time, there's a lot of things we can consume, from awesome video games with nice graphics, Netflix movies or series, I don't know, anime. There is a lot of stuff you can spend a lot of time. And if you ever try to catch up on some series which your friend recommended to you, then you know it takes quite a lot of time and mental energy. And also, I'm not even speaking about YouTube, Twitch, and all of the other awesome stuff you can do. And I think this sort of stuff is very important, because you can get inspiration from that. You can learn about new visual effects. You can learn about the game industry and get inspiration and stuff like that, but it should be less proportional to actually creating stuff. So I think that learning XR or learning anything basically means creating side project, creating designs, developing games, and so the doing part should be more dominant than consuming part. And this is something I discovered very early on. And it's something I'm trying to do till this day. So a little bit more about myself or about my story. I first started to use computers when I was 3 or 4 years old. I can't tell that clearly, but as you can see on that photo, it's quite an old laptop, quite chunky one, very retro. Maybe some some Gen Zs on a TikTok would love that. So I started exploring computers, and of course, game was the first thing I started to do. I even streamed on a Twitch for a while, and then when I was around like 13, 14, I discovered programming, which opened a whole new world because I could create websites, I could create interesting things. And since I was always creative, I always painted, and I always loved math. Programming was this thing that helped me to connect these worlds and create new stuff from the scratch. Then at age 17, I kind of switched to product design because at the time I was working as a freelance front-end developer, which I know it's quite young, but I was hustling out, and I find out that it's, for me personally, as a person who hates to see people and stuff like that, or I like to see people and speak with them, but in a private. So for example, a job in a supermarket would be a nightmare for me. I'm really introverted. So I started to code websites and find first freelance clients, did a lot of websites for local businesses, but I always liked that portion of the design better. So I switched to product design, and I find out that there is a thing such a called UI UX, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, I want to learn more about it. And a couple of months went by, and from this middle image where I'm presenting website design or like a platform design on Erasmus project in Sweden, I moved to my first tech job, which was in age 19. I believe they even hired me at 18, which was quite interesting because I was the youngest employee in that company ever, and everyone was like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years older. And now I try to, be as best as I could, and I really give that doing part a lot of percents of my time, and I try to work as much as I could. As you can see, there is a couple of interesting items on my table, namely book Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon, one of my favorite book series yet. And then there is an iPad. That's actually the reason why they hired me initially in age 18. So I started to work as a digital illustrator to kind of transition to the design, because I wasn't that good of a designer. So I was actually creating some content for games, and then they later switched me to the design department. And one of the things I was working in there was games. So basically they had this like a gaming part of the company, which was creating games for App Store and Google Play. These were puzzle games, so casual games. And as you may know, these mobile games are quite popular with some types of customers, and these games were actually made in Unity, and that's my first introduction to the Unity, and I first discovered what Unity is. And if you know something about Unity, you know that developing interfaces and designs and games in Unity is totally different than doing the same stuff in the native. And it's even in terms of design. And none of my team members know some of these nuances in Unity. So I decided to learn Unity. And this is how I first initially got into Unity. So I, as you can see, even wrote an article about it in 2019 when I was still working at this company. And I was reading this article when I was preparing for these workshops. And one of the first things which was there was, oh, I think that Unity can be used for a lot of different things. For example, AR, VR, because I feel like you can prototype anything in Unity. So that was my first Unity game. And at the same time I was working on these puzzle games, and you can see them still on my website. It was quite fun. So I was learning Unity, still working in this company. And Unity is a game engine. And there are two main branches, as Luciana talked about at the beginning. There is Unity and there is Unreal Engine, and both of them can be used as a base to create basically any experience. So you can even do AR in it. You can do VR. Most commonly, you would do games in these engines. So I think that learning a game engine, either from a tutorial or course or from YouTube or anything other, or from Unity Learn, is very much powerful, because then you can prototype almost anything. And I feel like nowadays the devices, or people will experiment with different devices. If you looked at Google I/O, they had this let's say like a wall where was a person which was in 3D, and you can go through that, and other different types of screens like these mirrors which has screen behind them and stuff like that. And because we are experimenting with so many different digital experiences, game engines are something you can basically prototype anything, and it's super useful to know how to use them. And then I switched again because I'm a very curiosity-driven person, and I like to try out lots of different things and learn new stuff. I'm constantly occupied by some random skill. But at 2019 or 2020, beginning to, I think it was still 2019, I switched again to augmented reality, because Apple on their WWDC released ARKit 3, and ARKit 3 could do a lot of stuff. For example, track human bodies. And I thought, this is a really interesting experience to learn. And so we built a game with a couple of friends for this called Tactile AR. It was basically like, these dancing games from the 90s, like a dancing carpet style of game. So it was a rhythmic game in AR. You were basically jumping on these squares, and it was counting a score for you. And we even won a startup competition, or sorry, we were second on a startup competition, a huge startup competition in Prague with this demo. And I learned a lot about AR design while building this experience. And one of the crucial problems was that as you are basically dancing in this game, your feet needs to be cropped into these squares. But cropping someone's feet, it's, even though you can track the feet, it's very hard to crop the feet. So we find out a company which was specializing in putting AR shoes on your feet, and then we overlaid a shoe on top of that square, so it looked like you are actually standing on it, even though you wasn't standing on it. And one of the other things we experimented with was multiplayer AR. So multiplayer AR is this feature of ARKit, where you take a second phone, and two people can see on the two different phones, or maybe multiple different devices, the same experience. So for example, you could film your friend playing this game even though you were standing somewhere else. And ARKit is not the only one AR technology currently in use, or like a mainstream technology. I think that the most common use of AR are filters, which you can put on your face. We all know that doggy face or cat face or whatever. And Snapchat initially started with this trend, and then Facebook kind of copied them and did the same thing. So there is Lens Studio, which is an Snapchat platform. Then there is Apple ARKit, and these tools like Reality Composer or Reality Converter are really great for building and prototyping different AR experiences. And I tested it out. I have a couple of videos and articles about it. Actually, it's real fun. And then there is Spark AR. That is a platform of Facebook where you can do filters. But AR is not only for filters. All of these platforms can also do a powerful marketing stuff. So for example, companies are creating filters where they are presenting products to their customers, which is, an awesome use case for AR. And one of the things, naturally as a designer, which I was discovering while designing this AR experience was, how the design principles you can use in a digital design, in app design, can be used for AR. And I also started to learn a lot about AR design. And at the time, there wasn't that many resources as it is now. But Google used to have some really good presentation at the time. So if you want to watch past Google Talks, they are really great. But basically, here I summarized couple of different use cases we can have a look around. So don't put too much stuff on the screen. It's actually better to place all of the AR objects into the scene and let the user explore the 3D world. Overlaying some 2D stuff on the user screen, it's not ideal. Users should be able to move that experience because they can render something in a table. Then you should use an appropriate scale for your experience. And, some of the experiences may be more comfortable if you use them on a table than if you, for example, place them as a room scale type of experience. Then safety, it's very important. People can fall, people can bump on things. I think if you play Beat Saber, you hit sometimes like your hand on a ball. That's in VR, but in AR it can happen the same thing because someone can get really interested and really drawn into your experience. Then you should provide the users with good onboarding because new experiences such as AR, VR needs a little bit more explanation, especially for older users. And also think about accessibility. That's something that's quite aligning with the product design itself, because there are people who don't see the same colors as we do, or who need a little bit bigger text. And I think that everyone is talking about it at the moment, but I think that most of the bigger companies, or I was seeing it this way even when I was designing this experience, and now it's quite like everywhere on WWDC. You could see like 3 talks this year about accessibility and stuff. So I'm just want to really enhance that accessibility is important in your design. And we are missing one slide here. That's quite unfortunate, but let's see, maybe it will be somewhere else. And I see that we have bad numbering here. I'm not sure what happened with this presentation, but let's see. And then a magic happened, and I got my first Oculus, and then eventually Oculus Quest, and I was really enjoying VR, and I was playing these experiences, and I thought, well, I know how to use Unity. I have this awesome device which is standalone, and I can probably design something for it because I have sufficient skills, for doing so. So I started to play around of what I can do and what I can design. And at the time, it was pandemic, and it was very popular, like meditations apps on your phones, like Calm, were very popular. So I actually decided to learn a VR development and design and developed a VR meditation application. Later on, I find out that for relaxation purposes, if you have 2 screens, which are like in your eyes, lighting that blue light on you, that's not so much relaxation. And also because it was so popular, the market was so dense, so I didn't release my application, but I learned a lot. And one of the key takeaways is always do side projects, always follow up your passion. And if there is a technology which you think, oh, that's super cool, I would love to develop something for it, definitely go there and develop something for it, because chances are that developing an application would take you or like a crappy demo of application would take you a couple of days, and you would learn so much. So, I'm always following my side project passions a lot. And one of the things which I really like on the VR is that you can prototype experiences so easily. For example, Untitled Brush or Sketchfab, which are a creative application for VR. And I believe there will be multiple more creative applications for VR. And these are 2 really great tutorials if you want to check them out on YouTube. So there is a VR artist by Danny Batman, and he is talking about Tilt Brush, he is talking about Poly, he is talking about Gravity Sketch. And you can basically buy this application, and before you even start to build in Unity, for example, in a course you will purchase later today, you can prototype them super easily, and you can even import this thing you prototype into Unity. Then you of course need real 3D models, and because I didn't have any prior 3D modeling experience, I decided to take this Blender course, because one of the things that you need for VR design is actually models. So if you are not an VR artist, then it's kind of great. But yeah, these two YouTube things, awesome. And there is a lot of content also on like different platforms, different courses. I took a lot of different stuff before I was able to develop that game, which leads me to the design itself. VR design is something different than AR design or design for normal screens, because you are able to control everything, all of the feelings. You are not able to control taste, but you are able to control sound, vision, and touch even. And basically, you have, as a designer, you can create entirely new world. And I think that there's few important things to mention here. So your users or your customers should be able to move in your application, if that application is a room scale application, without need of moving in a physical space, because chances are that they will draw their like a circle, or they will place their index space somewhere, and then there will be an item just on the border of that physical space. And it happened to me many times in many different Quest applications, that I actually had to tap on my Quest, switch to the see-through mode, and actually see if I can use that application in that space. And I would, and I believe if you can use stuff like teleport and something like that, it's very easy for the users. Then you should not stick things on the user's field of view, which maybe, you may think about it, okay, maybe I will put there like a health bar or something like that, but it's very uncomfortable and it can make some people motion sick. Also, avoid flashes, and I saw this in many different applications, but if you flash white color on a human eye, it's very uncomfortable. Even though you can do this in a game and that's a cool effect, on a VR it's annoying and it hurts your eyes. Also, accessibility is important. One thing to note is that from my experiments, the color contrast on a Quest are not as good as, for example, on a computer devices. I don't know why, because the displays there are actually great, but maybe it's because of lenses. So, lift up your contrast if you're designing something, and give users the feedback. This kind of brought me back to that onboarding point in AR. These experiences are new and the users need a little bit more guidance. And I wrote a couple of different articles about this, about, for example, how you can prototype your interfaces for Oculus and stuff like that. So you can always check my Medium. I'm trying to be educational, or like educate about stuff I learned on my side projects. And now there's one important part of the story which I need to mention, and that is YouTube. I started my YouTube channel over a year ago, and I'm generally passionate about not only about AR VR, I'm passionate about a lot of different future textiles. I noticed that some of my videos which were about VR went really viral, very great. So, for example, there was one video, and I'm still embarrassed about it, titled "How to Learn AR VR Design." And this video is super old, and I'm basically talking about skills which you want to learn as an AR VR designer if you want to, for example, do a similar application as I did. And this video is like really ridiculous. Don't try to search it, but it has a lot of views. It's my most watched video, and it's super embarrassing. But I find out that people are really interested in AR VR design, and that's why I started to more pursue it. I started to learn about it. I started to do more tutorials and stuff like that, which helped me on my AR VR journey tremendously. Because if you are teaching somebody something, you are kind of arranging your thoughts about that subject, and that means you can better understand it. And Now, before we wrap up this meeting, I want to share with you what's next for AR, VR, in my opinion, and where to look, because possibilities are endless. Two things which I wanted to briefly mention are that AR glasses have a huge comeback. So do you remember these Google glasses, which were quite awkward and nerdy in like 2015? They didn't caught up. So now there are projects which are actually aiming to bring up AR glasses back, and that's spectacles from Snapchat. And this project basically has AR glasses. These are only for developers, and then I would love to try them out. Hopefully I will be able to do that soon. And they are basically a development kit, so you can test out how this would work and look like. It's not a real product. You should be working in a real world. And it reminds me a lot at beginning of the Oculus, because Oculus also started as like a development kit type of device. And then there's Project Area, owned by Facebook, and these glasses that they have actually doesn't have an AR in them, but it's very very important to verify some design questions. For example, how would people feel if you have a device on your face which is tracking your entire environment? It has cameras, it has lidar sensors, and it can know basically everything you do as a human being. It can see how you're folding your clothes, you can see how you're picking up your kids from the school, or how you're cooking, or it can see your argument with your partner, which is very uncomfortable, and you definitely don't want somebody to see that. And how would other people who doesn't have accessibility to or can't afford this type of technology think about it? Think about you when you can, for example, use these glasses to have a night vision, because you definitely, the lidar sensors can kind of scan your environment, and you can see in the dark. How they will feel about that you are filming it? And I think it's important to ask these questions, and it's great that they are actually researching it before they launch a real product for the people. So I'm really glad that AR glasses have a huge comeback. I think this started last year, so have a huge comeback, and I will be probably, when there are first consumer available AR glasses, I will be standing on the lines to get them. And then in terms of VR, I think that it's great that we solved for that cable tangleness. There's more and more standalone headsets, for example, Focus Free by HTC, that is focused on business use case, and it claims that it's actually a little bit better than Oculus Quest, even though it used the same chipset. So I'm not sure about it. I would love to try out this headset, and I think that they solved ergonomy a little bit better than Oculus. If you ever tried Oculus Quest, do you know that you need an Elite strap for that device? Because the regular strap, it just moves on your face, and then you have a motion sickness, which is not the best experience you want to. So this headset, you can easily put it on yourself. It seems very nice in the videos. I would love to try that one. And then there is one, there are other developers from, for example, Japan, or this Apara device from China. And this one, as you can see, is super sleek. So I wonder how it would hold on your face. And they are even introducing with together with this device and VR world. So imagine a world like Oasis from Ready Player One, which is super exciting. It's not public yet, but I definitely will keep my eye on it, because as you may know, I'm an XR enthusiast. And yeah, that's all for my part. Thank you so much for your attention. I see there's 104 people, which is amazing. Thank you so much. And now Luciana will wrap up this how is it called, this stream, and then we will move on to QA. So if you have any questions for me, I would love to answer them. Thank you so much, and I will stop my presentation right now and leave the stage for a minute. I will be back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eva. That was amazing. Before I go on, how's my audio, everyone? How's the microphone? I changed the configuration. Really good now? Okay. Oh, relief. I was so nervous. Okay, good. Wonderful. Okay, yeah, definitely keep me posted if it changes, okay? Let me go back here to sharing my screen. Oh, we're practically in the same room. Amazing. Let me go back to sharing my screen. And everybody, let's give Eva a huge round of applause. That was amazing. She's so knowledgeable. And she was able to stick to the time limit. All of instructors say, I'm going to stick to the time limit, and then they never do. But then, of course, Eva did. So extra points, extra points. You can still hear the echo. Okay. Oh, I'm in an echoey room. I'll try. Maybe I'll speak a little bit lower. Okay, before I wrap up, I would love to know from you guys, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely you are to recommend this workshop to a friend. So this really helps us to keep evolving our workshops, making sure that we're creating relevant material. So please do give us your vote. All right, so I've just published it in the polls tab. So if you can go over there and submit your vote, that would be awesome. Oh, some of you have put in the chat. If you could put it in the polls again, then that way we can count it later. Very, very nice. Amazing. All right, so a couple of wrap-up resources before we go to the Q&A. If you're interested in design and becoming an expert designer and would like to know more about not doing it in a self-start way, but in one of our courses, I would love to have you in our next Circuit Stream open house so that you can learn more about our courses and how you can get into the XR space. So I'm going to go ahead and submit here a button if anybody is looking to attend the open house. That'll make it really easy for you all to do so. All right, so it should be there, so you can sign up anytime. And then in the meantime, I just wanted to wrap up a bit, talk about our courses. So again, we have our XR Development with Unity course. It's 10 weeks long, 80 hours of instruction. I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss this button because it's covering the screen. Okay, but I can post it here on the chat. There you go. Okay, so if you are interested in getting to the XR space, but you're a beginner and you're looking to do development, then this is a great course for you. So this includes coding. It's beginner friendly. You learn to make AR and VR apps on Unity. You get 3 hours of instruction per week and 5 office hours per week. All of our courses are flexible, part-time, and you get lifetime access to all of the recordings. It's completely portfolio-based, so you graduate with a portfolio of projects that you can show to potential employers, and you get access to industry-recognized certifications. As well, you have the option to add on a weekly one-on-one support to work on a personal project. So we have 2 cohorts coming up, one on August 3rd, which is our MENA cohort, and then we have our September 14th one. And this is starting at $39.50 USD. And now, I imagine this course is more interesting to you all out there because it's focused on design. So we have our interaction design and prototyping for XR course as well. It's 10 weeks long, also 80 hours. Apologies, that's a typo. And you learn, much of what Eva was talking about, so how you design experiences for AR and VR and how that differs from web and mobile apps, techniques to create XR prototypes. You get the same support, so 3 hours of instruction per week, 5 office hours. It's flexible, part-time, and you get lifetime access to the recordings, industry-recognized certifications, and again, the option to add on that one-on-one support to work on a personal project. We have some students that are taking the design course right now. You can talk to them on Slack to know what they think about it, and our next cohort is on August 23rd. So with both of these courses, you do get industry-recognized certifications. So for the XR development, you get the Circus Stream Certified XR Developer certification, and you can take both of the courses. You get access to the Unity certification exam, so that you can get the Unity Certified Associate Programmer certification, and then same thing with the design course. You get an XR Designer certification, and you can take the Associate Artist certification with Unity. That is a lot of time-saving certification. As a student of ours, you get access to our XR community. So it's a 24/7 support system. You get office hours 5 times per week, and we also host a couple of cool events, if I do say so myself, because I host them. So we have coffee hour on Mondays, that's social hour. We have show and tell, where you get to see live demos, as well as demo day, which is when you showcase your projects to the community. If you're interested in any of these courses, we also have various payment plans to make it flexible and accessible. And you can purchase personalized team training if you're an educator or a business, as well as just one-on-one packs with an industry expert. If you're interested in one of our courses or would like to apply or would like to talk to our learning advisors, you can go to circuitstream.com/learning. And here they are. So this is our Circuit Stream admissions team. I like to call them Lucy's Angels, you know. It's Steph, Kyle, and Brandon. So Steph and Brandon are also in the chat. Steph is saying hello. And they're really there to help you figure out which course is best for you. What are you looking to do? They're really super helpful and super friendly as well. That's basically it, everyone, for wrap up and resources. So I'm going to drop our Slack link as well for those of you who would like to continue engaging with me, with everybody else over there as well. You can go to our website, circusstream.com as well. And if you'd like to check out Eva's content, she's on YouTube, you know, all of the different social media platforms that Eva Kutikova. So she has all of the kind of self-started and free resources as well. So it all depends on how you're looking to learn, but you know, we're here to offer you all of these different learning paths. And then stay tuned. Next week we have 2 workshops. On Tuesday, July 13th, we have VR safety training at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then next Thursday, July 15th, we have an HP guest workshop with Circus at 12 p.m. Pacific time. All right, so hopefully that wasn't too long. I'll stop right now. And I will invite Eva back up on stage so that we can go over the Q&A.
Yeah, perfect. So how we will do that? Will we go one by one?
Yes, so I'm going to go over, we have a couple of questions. We have lots of questions. Great. I'm going to order them in upvotes. So, we have a question with 13 votes. That's
13
awesome.
votes. Wow, that's a lot of votes.
So Sebastian is asking, how do you showcase your portfolio for AR/VR projects? Do you place them on a normal website, or are there alternative methods? Example, a VR website built using A-frame.
So personally, I'm mostly presenting the experiences I made for either AR or VR on my YouTube channel is like a private listing because I'm sending them people who are interested. As I said at the beginning, my portfolio is mainly directed at the moment to my product design clients. So I'm showcasing actual designs of like 2D screens. But I want to say that some of my clients at the moment are very much related to the AR/VR space because, for example, I designed a game engine and I designed a 3D rendering platform. So it's quite, close. But I'm currently focusing on these clients, which is important for my business at the moment. So all of my projects live on a YouTube, and then I share with people video because I can also talk about it on the video, and they can get a better sense about that experience.
Very nice. Awesome. Thanks for the question, Sebastian, and thanks, Eva. So our next question is from Jesse. Jesse is asking, if you develop a small game in Unity, do you recommend publishing it? And if so, where is the best market for what would be a first game?
That depends on what device you want to use, right? If you want to, you can use either a Steam VR or you can use Oculus, or there are different platforms. For my first Oculus game, I would maybe think more about SideQuest than about official store, because on SideQuest there is a great community. Also, you can share it on Reddit. There are, I think, at least 2 subreddits regarding to Oculus Quest, and I was even thinking about publishing some game on a side quest, because there are these like small games, you don't need any approval process, you can get users, you can and the people are expecting that this is not like a high-end title, they are expecting that these are games that single indie developers made, or you can go the Steam round. That's also very much viable. It depends on what type of device you will be developing for.
So it has this lower bar of entry, right, with the side.
Well, basically for Oculus Quest store, you need to apply, and they are encouraging you to apply before you even start to build the game. But you need to submit your deck, and it can be time consuming for you, and you really just want to learn on your first game. So if I would want to publish it, I would probably use SideQuest or any other platform, or find some people on Reddit who would test it for me, because it's about building, not about waiting for some corporation to kind of look at your pitch deck.
Totally. That's a great question. And then we have another question from Funny. So this one is directed at Circus Stream. So does Circus Stream have a career mentorship? So I would answer yes and no. So not officially, but during any one of our office hours, you can talk to industry experts. And one of the things you can talk about is the industry. What was their trajectory? What can they expect? But it's informal as opposed to formal. We might have some formal content in the future. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely, keep a lookout on our website. I will say as well, one more thing is with all of our certifications, you get access to you'll see all of the certifications will list all of the skills that you have as an XR, designer or a developer, and all those skills will link you to a job bank in your current location. So that's another way to connect you to the industry and to the job market. That's a great question.
Yeah, also maybe I can mention that I'm in several marketing programs. So if you are interested in mentorship regarding to design, you can always reach me out via email. I take like 1 or 2 mentees per year. So that's not a volume like Circumstream, but if your story is interesting and you are interested to learn more about design, you can always ping me on email.
That's great. And your email is eva@evakotikova.com, right?
Yeah, okay. That's exactly. Or that's my main email address.
Cool. And we'll share. We can share more of your contact info via chat, so everyone can.
Yeah, I can type it in there.
Perfect. All right. So next question is from Kirabel. Hopefully, I'm saying your name correctly. So, how would you pitch yourself as an XR designer freelancer? What are companies/brands looking for as a requirement for hire?
As how I would pitch myself as a designer? Well, to be honest, I'm freelancing for more than a year now, and it's all about context. So it's about people who know you. I think that even some people came to me from YouTube because they liked how I think about stuff, how I think about products. There is not one good way how to present yourself. Of course, there are some best practices about communication, but presenting yourself as an XR designer is the same as presenting yourself as a product designer or as a developer. You need to learn these communication basics, maybe read some books on this topic, like, I don't know, how to make friends and influence people, and generally be a happy, passionate person, because if you are passionate about your work and you share good vibes and you, connect with people, the opportunities will come by themselves, but you need to put yourself out there and be kind of passionate about it.
In your website too, Eva, it's pretty innovative. Like once you go on it, you can already sense your style, what you're interested in. And I imagine, just like any other designer, how you design or brand your own work makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm hugely in personal brand. As you may know from our communication, I have actually a marketing manager to help me out because I want to focus on doing and designing and not on marketing, it has to be balanced. So marketing is also important. When I think about websites, I always think about who they are for. And for example, my website is quite old and I should probably update it. But at the time it was, or it is still highly focused on my clients, who are searching for, lead product designers in tech industry. And ideally, they should sense that I'm trying to find out innovative ways how to design products, that I'm not the next person who would, design the next e-commerce store, because there is like, e-commerce stores, they are quite common in my industry. But on my next website, when I will do that, I want to design it in my new personal brand. I want to include there even more stuff about learning, some of my side projects, so people can get inspired about my side project, and I want to kind of serve more users. But at the moment, it's highly focused just on my portfolio and also on speaking I did in the past.
Nice. And you mentioned books. You have a section on your website where you do list book recommendations.
Books. Yeah,
right?
There is, I think, over 50 book recommendations.
Wow.
I really like reading, because I'm like, don't consume anything, and then here I am consuming 20 books a year. But I think there is wisdom. There is a wisdom in the books, and as I said, there's many passions of mine. So, for example, one of the other weird passions are chess, which are quite popular at the moment. That's not that weird, but I'm also usually interested in philosophy, and basically, you need to read books in order to learn philosophy. And I'm also interested in startups. I'm interested in design. I'm also, sometimes I read even things on physics from Feynman, because physics is, physics, sometimes you find there's something you can use in AR, VR design, because our world is functioning a certain way. And when you know physics, you know how that functions. So yeah, totally. And you can also find some book recommendations on my website.
I can see that. Like, we should definitely continue these conversations on Slack, because there's so much to talk about, right? And you reminded me of my physics teacher who'd say, everybody should learn physics. Physics is everywhere. Physics is the world. So
it truly is the world.
It is. Yeah. Nice. And then Sebastian had a question. Do employers generally have a preference as to know a Unity or Unreal Engine?
So I'm personally using Unity, and that's just because I learned Unity first. I'm thinking about learning Unreal as well, and then comparing these two. But based on what I know, Unity is generally thought about as more like a user-friendly version of game engines compared to Unreal. From what I know, I haven't tried, but Unreal has a couple of very interesting features, and I would say they are more directed to game developers, because games can run on high frame rate, can have more complicated models than, for example, VR applications. But for example, their human generator, it's amazing. I'm not sure if you saw the human generator for Unreal. It's quite a cool piece of tech.
Oh, nice. And Unity covers over 60% of the market, right? So
yeah, that's true. I even have some Unity stocks. They IPO'd last year, so.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm very believing in them, so yeah.
Yeah. I think, we have some of our team members, of course, that have some stocks as well. And it's been just going up, yeah. So Razif is asking, what tools/software do you use for XR design prototyping?
So for that depends, right? On AR and VR would have two different paths. So for AR, I think I have a full prototype on that, and I'm using mostly Blender, Reality Composer, Reality Converter. And that's about it, because you can do like anything in these softwares. But you can also do AR in Unity, right? So then it would be probably a combination of Blender and Unity. And for the VR applications, I think I have a tutorial on VR design interfaces, where I'm playing with like different units, which are based on like how far are the screens from me and stuff like that. And there I'm using actually a combination of Figma and Unity mostly, and I'm getting some assets from the asset store. But I think tools are just a way how you want to create your ideas. So you can use any tools. If you, for example, you can even present your idea by creating a video in After Effects, and it would be probably fine as long as it represents your idea as a designer. So, you know, learn as many tools as you can, because then after you master them, you start to see where you can, you know, help with these tools. I'm even using Unity sometimes for like real design where when I need it, or, you know, sometimes I create a video, sometimes I just mock it up in Figma, sometimes I sketch it out on my iPad. It's basically, you know, the tool set is just about realization of your ideas. It's not about like one tool is better than the other.
Nice. Awesome. Next question is from Melanie. So, do you offer financial assistance or grants to the course? So I assume this is a Circus Train course. Yeah. So unfortunately, no. Sometimes we do launch some pretty big discounts though. Like we had one. Steph and Brendan will be able to talk a little bit more about this in detail. I see that Dayan is ready, but we had one a couple months ago in July or June, I think. Oh yeah, so Dayan is saying usually around Black Friday we have some huge discounts, and also our alums get 20% discounts on the courses. So,
and it's the Black Friday, so you can stock up on courses, which they are really great, guys. I was checking them out, they are great.
Yeah, I think they would be around October.
Around October.
But sometimes your company might pay for the course. So that's a lot of the case with our students. Like companies will want their employees to upskill, especially in this area, XR. So it's definitely worth checking that out. And Scott is saying,
not for freelancers and independent people. You need to pay for your education.
Yeah. Sometimes though, like you can check out local governmental programs. Maybe involved in technology, they might have grants.
Or also, if you are from like a community that is not so common in tech, for example, there is a lot of, or at least in Europe, there is a lot of groups for example, females in tech and stuff like that, and you can get an internship for different programs from these groups. So, yeah,
absolutely, yeah. But that's a great question, Melanie. And then now from Shane, how important is it to have a college degree in computer science or a related field?
Well, I don't have a degree, as you can tell, so I don't know.
So not necessary at all.
To be honest, usually if you don't have a degree, big tech companies require the experience in a years. So for example, for a position they want a designer with 2+ years experience and bachelor's degree in IT or designer related field, or the equal amount of experience. So for example, if I would be applying for a level 3 or level 4 product designer position to Google, I could, because it's 3 years for bachelor's degree plus 2 years of experience. If you count them, that's like 5 years, and I have 5 years plus years of experience as a designer. So you probably don't need it, but if you are seeking a corporate job or in this like giant tech company, it's a little bit harder for you to get in there. And I think I was quite lucky to get into tech company in such a young age. I actually got an offer on high school because I was, kind of doing a lot of stuff, but that's definitely not everyone's case. So I think it depends case by case. If you have a lot of projects behind you and you are generally passionate, then it's possible without a degree. If you want safer, more traditional route, then it makes sense to invest in your degree. And also, I've heard that university is one of the best times you can have in your life. If you jump from a high school to the real world, I wouldn't lie. It's like really hard. Even if you have a clear offer, it's really, really hard.
I bet, yeah. But on that note too, we have lots of students that they have a degree, but it's in an unrelated field. So we have a student who has a biology degree and then works in performing arts and then is changing careers. So lots of our students are changing careers. So I guess what you're saying too, Eva, is that it's all about your equivalent experience and how you're able to show that, right?
Yeah, that's true. But if you have a degree in biology and you sign up to tech company, I think you should expect that they would want to see some courses or some like related experience or projects in your portfolio that can actually showcase your work. Then it's the same thing as if you don't have any degree. For example, I personally want to do in the future a degree in physics. But it's more like a fun thing I want to do, not something that would be super related to my job.
Totally. Great question. Now we have a question from Evan. Does the design course produce a working XR app for your portfolio if it's not focused on programming? So maybe I'll get a little bit of help from the other from the team members, but short answer is I believe you can work it out that way without making it very coding heavy. I see that Steph is also writing, but of course you're going to be focusing on the design aspect. If you choose to get the add-on with the 101s, you're going to be working with an instructor, and the instructor can help out with some of the development if it's not really coding heavy. So I think it all depends on what you would like to do. And also see if Brendan or Steph have anything to add to this question. Yeah, so if you're looking to, we also have the design syllabus up on our website where you can take a look exactly what you're going to learn and what that leads to as a result. Okay, so I'm going to close this question, but more answers to come. All right, so our next question is from, let me just see. Yeah, so Dayan just posted the syllabus for the design course. All right, so let's go to Miriam. Miriam is asking, is the MacBook Pro good to develop XR?
Well, I actually wrote a whole article about the topic. I can maybe find it and post it because it's the short answer is yes, you can do it, but there are some things you need to consider because you do that. I will probably find that article and post it because I find out that this question is popping up. This question is popping up in my comments on YouTube quite frequently, and so that's why I wrote that article about, because it's like, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we also have like if we
Dijon was faster than me. He is a big
He's
guy.
ninja fast. He's so fast. Yeah.
He's ninja fast.
He is. And we also have, just in terms of hardware in general, we have a blog post on our website that talks about the different devices that you need to run VR. So maybe Dayan can post that as well. Okay, so thanks, Miriam. And then now I'll go back to Evan. So Steph and Brendan provided more answers. So Steph said, yes, in the design course, we use a tool in Unity called the XR Interaction Toolkit to streamline the C# coding. The course does help you create AR, VR projects and come out with projects for your portfolio. So there you go. And then Brendan is saying, two of our flagship courses are project-oriented and will help you produce pieces for your personal portfolio. In terms of creating something from scratch and depending on the scale of this, this is something you can leverage on your one-on-one mentorship sessions or on our community for enduring support. Exactly. So you can always, again, either with the one-on-ones with an industry expert or in the office hours, which are drop-in based, you can work on. So it all depends on the complexity of the apps that you're trying to create. Hopefully that answers now fully your question, Evan. Okay, so let's go now to Sarah. How do you get into XR development when you don't have a degree in the related field or coding experience?
To be honest, you either book a course or go to youtube.com and search a tutorial, and then you try and you do that and you fail and you work on it every day, and eventually you will learn that. Or like you can go to university again, right? But I personally learn everything from the internet, and I think the internet is the most powerful invention, because nowadays we don't need to go to schools to learn tech-related fields.
Yeah, and it all depends on your timeline as well, right? So university is one type of educational offering. It depends on where you're in your career. Like you were saying, Eva, right? For if you're young, usually university is a good route to go through 4 years. But maybe if you're working professional and you're trying to change careers, you know, our courses, they're intensive, so you'll have to spend around like 6 to 10 hours in addition to the classes to study, but they're 10 weeks long. So in 10 weeks, you already have the skills to get into the market, right? Because it's all about those practical skills. Awesome, great question. And now a question from Arun. So I am keen to use AR, VR for interior design and architecture. Is Unity the correct platform or anything else?
It depends. I think you can even prototype a basic design architecture functionalities if you want to like place furniture in the ARKit, but you can definitely use Unity as well. Like you can do anything in Unity, right? So I think you should experiment with different platforms for your specific type of use cases.
Great. Oh, were you going to add something?
No.
Okay.
I'm good.
Just ready for the next question. Mm-hmm. All right, and now we have one from Elisa. So for someone who has 8+ years of interactive media design experience, design, video, 3D animation, and wants to transition to XR design and development, how helpful is interaction design course? Or would you recommend trying XR development instead? Okay, so I know that Steph and Brendan can provide more info. So in the XR, in our interactive design course, we don't teach you to do 3D or animation, all of the design skills. We just teach you how to use all those skills in XR, so in Unity. So it's definitely super helpful if you already have that. So if you're looking to leverage your experience and become like a kick-ass designer in the XR world, then the interaction and prototype design course would be best. But if you're looking to create and actually develop apps, right, then the XR development course would be best. I'll see if Steph and Brandon have anything to add, or Eva, if you have anything to add.
I'm not sure if I have anything to add, but you know, now in that stage where I would love to have more 3D animation skills. So you know, there is so much interesting stuff you can learn. So all the best to you. More courses you take, I guess, better. I wouldn't worry about it XR development, because development, it's actually not that hard as it seems.
Yeah, so Steph is saying he's happy to share more info with you afterwards, Elisa. So maybe you guys can touch base and really have a more detailed conversation. Great. All right. I'm loving some great questions, everyone. This is great. Like, you're putting us to work. I love it. All right. A question from Clara. Are iPads good to develop XR?
Well, I don't think there is a reliable 3D software on iPads or any like game engine. But I think, you know, maybe in the future, people will develop some like more reliable 3D software or game engines for iPads, because they are powerful. They are same powerful as M1 chips. Like iPad Pros are like insane devices. Wow. The only thing is software, like it's not there. So yeah, I think you can use it in ideation stage. You can use it for sketching. You can also preview your AR content on iPad through Reality. Through Reality Composer. Yeah, Reality Composer. So, yeah, but not for development probably at this stage. But it's a software issue, not a hardware issue.
Yeah, maybe in the future people will be on trains, just like on their iPads, like developing XR. It'll be something like basic, you know. Cool. All right. So Enid had a question. Is the session being recorded for later review? Yes, it is. Even the Q&A session. So if anybody has to leave, no worries. You will be receiving the recording. All right. So Taishan is asking, besides Unity, how many other applications/software are you using to make a project come to life?
Well, To be honest, surprisingly, the most common use application for design is Google Documents. So, you spend a lot of time on prioritization and on the ideation with your team. And as I stated before, tools are just a way how to bring life your ideas. So you should use your tools as actual tools, not as something higher up in there. But I think in my interview with Circumstream, we kind of nailed down or laid down all of the different tools I'm using, and there is a lot. I think there's like 15, 20 different tools. So
wow, well, great.
But most of them are collaboration tools. So expect Zoom and Google Docs, but there is also Unity. So
all right, so. Looks like we're, here. From Rahul, currently working on a project related to real-time human pose detection using TensorFlow PoseNet with computer vision and Unity for a fitness app. I did not come from a coding background. Finding it hard to build it, would hugely appreciate any suggestions or tips. Thank you.
Well, to be honest, I don't, or I self-learn to code, and I know how hard it may be, but I would personally advise just like, try and fail and try and fail. I'm not sure if your course, maybe your development course or like your one-to-one sessions with industry experts may help with this, because this is like a very specific question, and you probably need to know a little bit more context to answer this question correctly.
Absolutely, yes, our XR development course. You can take a look at the syllabus on our website as well, circusstream.com, or depending on your proficiency in coding, how much, or how far you are with your app, like Eva said, you can purchase just a pack of 101s. So I'm sure that one of our learning advisors will be able to help you figure out which path is best for you. A great question. All right, and now from Ateker, is the only way to get a Circusstream account to be signed up for a workshop. So I think your question is related to Slack, maybe. So we open up our Slack community, XR community, to everybody who comes to our workshops, and then also to all of our students. So I posted it earlier. We would love to have you there. But if you're talking about on our learning portal, then you would have to be enrolled in one of our courses. Hopefully I answered your question, but let me know if you have any follow-up questions from that. All right, so another question from Sarah. Is Blender a good program to use with Unity, or would you recommend another modeling and texturing program?
Well, I'm personally using Blender because it's very sufficient for the price. It's a free program. But I, for example, find Cinema 4D is a nice tool as well. You can always use 3D as max. I think that it's like a personal choice. You can test out different tools and see what interface is most nice for you. There's also Houdini, where you can create a lot of interesting experiences, but the learning curve is harder. So with 3D tools, as I said, always with tools, they are just tools to bring your ideas to reality. So yeah, but Blender is working quite well with Unity.
Great. So no cookie cutter recipe, right? It's all about testing and experimenting, seeing what works out best.
Well, we could give our work to AI if we can say that's the exact recipe, or maybe not even AI, to some simple algorithm. I hope that I won't be replaced by AI. I hope so. I need to keep learning new stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, even in terms of like humanities, they're developing. Robots can do so much these days, but it still doesn't replace a human being. Thank goodness, right?
In some cases, I guess AI is definitely more reliable on like driving a subway or something like that than humans are, because it doesn't get tired. It's like hard to compete with if it doesn't get tired.
And the accuracy, we can't compete with that accuracy level, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, and we sometimes even can't compete with creativity. There's AI writing blog posts and doing art and stuff like that. So will be very challenging one day to compete on a job market.
Oh my gosh. Let's go to the next question on that note. So Sonia, one of our students, alums, is asking, do you use SideQuest or Bootcamp for testing VR?
Actually, I'm using, so actually you can connect Oculus Quest to Unity, and you can, click build and play, and then it runs automatically from Unity. But I use SideQuest, for example. I then build it as an application file, and then I install it through SideQuest when I want to use it multiple times. But you can build and run it through Unity. The only thing is that you need to always build your belt, sorry. So it's kind of annoying when you're waiting for that build. So then having a SideQuest version installed on your device is always great.
Nice. And then a question from Nirali, also one of our students. What should one expect and prepare for XR designer interview?
I think it's the same as any other interview. You just need to prepare your experience. You need to showcase you're passionate. You have all of the, necessary experience for the role. And, there's a lot of content from HR people on YouTube, and they are talking about what they are looking for. And also they sometimes talk about your salary levels and stuff like that. So it's always great to do as much research as you can, because these, for example, ex-HR tech people are giving you what they are looking for, right? So, you would just go there, watch that video, find out what they are looking for, and then prepare your content accordingly. And it's always about angle. Truth can be viewed from multiple sides, so you can always present your experiences in the most let's say pleasant way for your future employer, or I don't know how to say that. But sometimes you just don't click with that company, you don't click with their values, you don't click with that HR person, and that's totally fine. I would say I talked with many people who were hiring, from HR people in big companies to CEOs from startups, and sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's also fine. I think interviewing, it's quite a strange event, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the prep wouldn't be any other different than another designer interview.
Yeah, that's
right?
Yeah, that's true. Of course, you need to have a technical skills, right? Or otherwise you can't mask it. Basically, if you're a freelancer, you're talking with people who can be your potential customers all the time. So now I'm very comfortable to do the interview thing, because I'm doing it probably 3 times a week, and I end up closing a deal with a company once a month. So I'm expecting that there is a high turnover rate, and it's just because, for example, we don't click, or there is not budget, or I don't have time, or that's basically the most common options. But I can feel that if you are an employee and you do an interview once in 3 years or once in 2 years, it's very uncomfortable, because you are not used to selling your skills. And that's why I'm mentioning there are resources to learn to sell your skills. You can even practice it on your family members and stuff like that.
Great. And I imagine that's one of the things that you also cover in your mentorship, right?
Yeah, that's true. I actually it's like me telling people it's fine to fail and stuff like that. But yeah.
We can tell ourselves, and we can tell the others, right? Nice. All right, so we have your name twin, but maybe it's Eva or Eva, I'm not sure the pronunciation. They're asking, what is available as far as hardware design and development for AR, XR? Is it really only those major players mentioned earlier, Google, Snapchat, and Facebook for R&D, or are there smaller communities around these ideas too?
One more time.
Sure. Yeah, so what is available as far as hardware design and development for AR and XR? Is it really only those major players mentioned earlier, like Google, Snapchat, and Facebook for R&D, or are there smaller communities around these ideas too?
Well, there are definitely more hacky ways, and and I mentioned some alternative headsets developers, but it's probably easier to learn Unity because they are a big company, or learn ARKit because there's a lot of resources around this. you know, if you want to do it hacky way, there are ways how to do that, but prepare to learn C or any like low-level language and prepare to write graphics from scratch. So, you know, you can always do that, but I'm not sure how many people here want to learn write graphic equations from scratch. You need to a lot of math in there and a lot of physics.
Yeah.
But I know people who do that. Like it's awesome. It's just mind blowing. But I'm not sure if I would be that person doing that.
Right. Depends on your profile, right? Great. So now, because I think we're getting to the end of questions, I have reordered them in terms of not answered.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was something about design, I think.
I have 2 questions from Elias here. Are those the ones? Here, we'll go through them and then we'll see if any are missing. Okay, resubmit as it got lost. Okay, same question. So, what would be the first 3 skills one should pick up in becoming a designer? Good question.
What would be the first skills? Well, there's a lot. And you mean as a product designer or like as a general designer? So first I would start, you know, there's a thing called design thinking, and I really hate this term. It's just like thinking. So, you know, read books such as The Design of Everyday Things and similar very like basic things. You can I think you can even see recommendations on my websites. There is another one, I think it's by Steve Carrack, and now I don't remember the name, but there are basic, like, let's say 4 or 5 books which talk about this topic, how to think about designing things. And that's really important to learn how to, you know, think about solving problems, because you know, some people have natural solving problem skills. Some of them need to develop a little bit better, and these old school books which were written like 20 years ago or maybe even more are still functional. Then I think you need certain aesthetic skills. So that can be anything. You can learn it through art, you can learn it through other different ways. And then you as a designer definitely need communication skills. You need to research, you need to talk to your users, you need to understand people. And there are great books on it. For example, 100 Things Every Designer Need to Know About the People by Susan. And I don't remember her last name, but she has PhD on some university and stuff like that. I have it on my website as well. So, you know, understand people, you know, problem-solving skills, visual skills. There's much more. You need to understand business, you need to understand marketing, you need to understand technology, so you can expand further endlessly, because design is first and foremost finding solutions to people's problems and making it beautiful along the way. So yeah,
I love that. And Dayan just posted the your list of suggested books on the chat, as well as the Amazon link to things every designer needs to know about.
That's the book, and I think you can find somewhere a free PDF if you want to on a web.
Nice, very nice. All right, so let's see. Oh, sorry, my video goes in and out when I'm clicking here on Livestorm. Let me reorder again. Not answered. Okay, so we've just answered Elia's question. So I don't think we have any more questions, unless anybody has a last minute question.
To be honest, there was like a lot of questions. I'm starting to be a little bit dark for like 2 hours straight. But it's golden. Thank you so much, guys, for all of the questions. Yeah, I think you can see that my excitement level was like this, and now it's like slowly dropping because
no, it's all good. It's like the end of the party. We got to put in, you know, it's a lot of talking, but no, your energy is still solid. I'm sure everybody can, and people are giving the thumbs up, so that's a good sign. All right, everyone. Yeah, if you have any follow-up questions, like after the workshop, get in touch with Eva via, you know, her website, her YouTube. Let me go ahead and post your email here in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and post again our Slack community channel. You guys can continue talking to our linear advisors there. You can talk to me. You can find out about other workshops. But again, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming, and everybody give a special round of applause to Eva. Thank you so much, Eva. It was great having you. I hope we can continue to connect after today.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we have one more article planned together, I think. So
Nice.
continues. But I'm so glad I really enjoyed this workshop, and you guys have awesome energy. 100 people or 108 people was there at most, which is a lot. If you think about it, that's like an Airbus airplane. There is a lot of people. So thank you so much. Super excited that we did this.
Amazing. Yes, it's great. All right, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to catch you soon.
Yeah, catch you soon. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Eva.